Good morning, everybody, and welcome to West Suffolk College's STEM Virtual Open Morning. We have colleagues from Automotive Computing, Engineering and Science joining us this morning, and we hope to be able to answer any questions that you have in this time. My name is Gary Jeffson. I'm the Executive Director for the STEM curriculum area at West Suffolk College, and I'll be chairing this morning's panel. I'll now ask my colleagues to introduce themselves. So, Leon.
Hello, my name's Leon Wild. I'm the Head of Automotive Engineering. Over to Ben.
Good morning, my name's Ben, and I'm one of the lecturers in computing and the course director for esports at West Suffolk College. And over to Mike.
Good morning, my name's Mike Nelson. I'm the Head of Engineering. And Claire?
Good morning, my name's Claire Watkins, and I'm the subject lead of science.
Okay, guys, right, we have the first question in. So, what potential careers can I progress to from your courses? So, if you all want to comment on that, we'll start with Leon.
Okay, so for automotive, if you were going to do a level 1 course, level 1 IMI, you could go into jobs like a parts department. You could work in a parts department. You could work in on reception, or you could go into sales. If you then do our level 2 course, you could be looking at being a mechanical fitter. Or possibly a service technician. So you'd be fitting things like brakes, suspension, tyres, exhaust, those kind of things. So a bit like the fast fit kind of things like that. If you then do the level 3 motorsport course that we run, you could look at becoming a diagnostic technician and move on to maybe a master tech. So you could carry on your career that way. And you could work in an independent or a main dealer. Other jobs that you could link to from these courses, if you then went to perhaps university or something like that, you could look into working on the rigs, in the oil industry. You could look at wind turbines and working on those, or you could go into engineering and design. So you could perhaps get into the design element. Now, a motorsport course gives you access also to the motorsport world, so you could perhaps work in the pits and fixing and repairing the race vehicles and preparing them, or maybe you'd work in the logistical side of motorsport. So these are just some of the many job roles that you could expect with automotive. Over to Ben now, please.
Thank you very much. So, with the computer department, we have 3 courses currently at the moment. We have a level 2 ICT course, which is like an introductory course that's a year long, that gives you an introduction to the world of computing and all the fundamentals before you would move up to our level 3 course, which is a Cambridge Technical OCR level 3, which then gives you a good grounding in things like cybersecurity, fundamentals, Internet of Everything. So it's quite a wide, varied course that would give you a lot of different skills to progress to university and then specialize in something different. We've also got a new esports course this year, which on the outside looks like it's gaming, but it's not. It's a really interesting course. It gives them quite a wide, diverse range of skills with things like marketing, social media management, video post-production, live stream editing. So kind of what we're doing today. We actually teach our students how to get involved and get skills in this world, which are actually quite transferable to standard broadcasting or general media in generally, really. Over to Mike.
Thanks, Ben. So in engineering, I mean, engineering is in everything you see and do around you. From like Leon said, in automotive, it could be offshore wind, solar panels, aerospace. I mean, down the road we have Marshall's Aerospace. We work with them. Bioenergy, robotics, automation, ICT. So most industries try and sort of reduce the amount of workers in the building, so it increases the amount of machinery and technology supporting the industry. And by that, you need robotics. You need people to program them. You need people to fix them. health equipment, chemical industry, construction, and as I said about the offshore or the oil and gas industry as well, which is near us, and even in the local fields and that we have automation working in picking fruit and harvesting. We have class down the road. We work with those as well. We've got apprentices that work with them. So it's everywhere really. Claire?
I'd echo that with science. The science world is huge, and there's actually quite a lot of overlaps with the 3 areas that have just been discussed. We offer a biomedical science course, a T-level, and a forensic and criminal investigation course, and that gives students the opportunity to go into lots and lots of different areas. Biomedical science is huge, especially at the moment with everything that's going on with COVID and all the testing. So there's lots of opportunities there to go into non-patient facing healthcare to support the NHS that way. Forensic and criminal investigation gives you lots of options in the world of forensic science, but also analytical chemistry, drug production, as in pharmaceuticals, but also customs and excise and things like that. And T-levels in laboratory science give you the skills to go into pretty much any laboratory in the country.
Thanks, Dame. So the next question is, what grades do I need to get onto your course? So I'll answer that one for everybody. Essentially, whatever grade you get at West Suffolk College, we will find a course for you. So don't worry about that. But essentially, we have entry points on our level 1, our level 2, and our level 3 courses. So the better you do in your GCSE grades, the higher starting point you can start with us. And most of the level 3s are 2-year programs, which then offer progression to university and all come with the required UCAS points. So progression opportunities into higher education at West Suffolk College or alternate universities and onto apprenticeships. So hopefully that answers that one. What can you get with an esports qualification, Ben?
So, as I sort of briefly said, it's quite a wide, diverse range of skills that we teach. It's based around the world of esports. So we're looking at the esports business is worth about £1 billion this year alone, and it is increasing. So there's a general cry out for skills and skilled people to get into this world and help out with the likes of coaching, streaming, the media side of it. So whether that is journalism or hosting, broadcasting. So we teach a wide, diverse range of skills, but they're very transferable. So if you wanted to go into general media or general journalism, it's the same sort of skills and the way you write things that we teach. The broadcast media side of it, there's a lot of sort of YouTubers now and stuff that are doing this at home on their own, but we're giving the skills to the students to be able to do that and go out into the wider world. There are lots of businesses now, so we teach social media management and use of branding in social media as part of the course. So we teach them how to do this and why it's important to do that. So any businesses nowadays with regards to like Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's all have a social media presence. So being able to manage that effectively and know how to use the tools that go with that are kind of the skills that we're teaching. So while it is based in the world of esports, there's a lot of transferable skills with like marketing, lots. I get lost, there's so many. But have a look on our website and have a look on the page for the esports. There is some descriptions in there. And if you have any more questions, by all means, drop me an email. I do have some extra information and some infographics that I can send out that explain this a lot better. But basically, you do gain a wide range of skills that are not just going to leave you stuck in the world of esports. They're actually going to open a lot of doors for you within the world of work in general. And that's why we chose this course.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. Claire, next one's your specialism. In fact, there are 2 questions, and we'll try and wrap them up. Somebody's asked specifically about details about the forensic course and what it includes and how much is practical. And then we have somebody else who's thinking about forensic and biomed. So maybe if you just take the time, explain the basis of both courses, please.
Okay, let's start with the forensic course. It's a 2-year programme. There's a combination of internally assessed coursework units and externally assessed exam units. There's quite a fair chunk of practical work. We spend a long time doing practical work both in what I would call the pure science, which is the biology, chemistry and physics, but also in the forensic aspect. So you'll be identifying evidence types and packaging and doing fingerprinting and anthropology and archaeology. And in the more scientific side of things in the lab, you'll be testing for metals and for cations and anions, and we'll be looking at wave speeds and cells. So lots and lots of practical work. If we can do it practically, we do like to, because it brings the subject to life. With regards to the biomedical, again, very similar, 2 years, both internal and external components. In fact, the external components for both are the same. So both students studying biomed or studying forensics will both do the same exams in their first year. And then there's a repeat of an exam in the second year as well. So again, lots and lots of practical work whilst we can get it in. And the biomed one tends to be more lab-based practical work.
Claire. So we have a question. Do the courses we offer equate to A levels? So our science, computing and engineering courses, the 2-year courses, they are predominantly Pearson's BTEC courses or equivalents, which equate to 3 A levels. And if you hit the distinction star grade, which is the highest you can achieve, you get the maximum amount of UCAS points that you would get equal to a high grade at A levels. So yes, they are exactly on par with A levels. Next question is very topical. How do we support students and how does teaching and learning work in the world that is dominated by COVID currently? So Leon, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, so this year we've taken on board lots of virtual learning. So we're using in automotive, we're using a program called Electude, which is a digital learning environment where students can gain access to how components work and how they fit together, but in lots of different styles. So there'll be like short videos, 3D models, and things like that. So we've used a bit of virtual learning there. Quite a number of our classroom theory lessons are now done online, and the classes are also halved group size, so that when they're in the practical environment, there's less students in the practical environment, which means there's more social distancing. They're encouraged to wear their PPE, so their face masks or screens, and then on top of that, they need to, before lessons and after lessons, they're asked to wash their hands and ensure that they keep clean as best they can. The break times are staggered, so that classes don't all rush out at the same time, and the whole college has less students on site at any one time. So that's how automotive in the college have done that. Over to Ben, if you've got anything different to add to that.
We're very similar, obviously, because we work as a college together. The only real difference, I think, with computing is because we're using computers every day with what we do. Additionally to what Leon was saying about making sure that students wash hands and wearing their PPE. And again, we use a program called Teams that we teach the same way as automotive, where we have half classes, but half are sat at home dialing in online, so they're still involved in the same lesson, and we have half the class in for face-to-face time, socially distanced, and we do alternate those, so all the students do get face-to-face time with the lecturers. And for us, it's just things like we getting the students to wipe down the machines before they leave their rooms every day, and just anything they touch, basically. So if they're helping out and they're putting notes on the whiteboards when we're teaching, that everything gets wiped down and cleaned by the students before they leave. And they're getting it's pretty much the norm now, and they're getting used to doing it without me having to ask. So it's really good. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you've covered most of it. I mean, I think you know, you guys are the same as us. We're using computers all the time, so we have 1.9 meter desks, and we have one computer on it. So there's one student and is at least 2 meters away from another student. We've got all the windows open, the doors open, sanitizer as you go in, go out. I mean, where possible, we try and keep one class in one room all day. I mean, you know, just so that they're only using the one computer that day, and then obviously it's cleaned at the end of the day, and then the next day, you know, a different group may use that room. But yeah, I mean, everybody's making, you know, the best of it. When we walk around in social spaces, everybody wears a mask. Desks, even if you go into the canteen, the desks there's like one seat, one table, and they're 2 meters apart. So yeah, we're doing the best we can. Claire, have you got anything to add?
I can only echo what all of you guys have said. We have rigorous cleaning procedures in place in the laboratories as well. All of our seats are spaced out, social distance, and where we have people that are face to face that are a little bit closer, we have screens in place to protect them. Yeah, masks, we've got individual PPE so that students aren't sharing that. And all of the things that you guys have said already to do with online learning as well.
Yeah. So in summary, where we can't get students in full time, we're predominantly using A group, B group, so they flip between a physical learning week and a digital learning week, and that works throughout the year, and it's proved to work very successfully, and is keeping people safe currently. So the next question, how is your course assessed? So if you can all just cover that for your areas briefly.
Okay, so within the automotive area, our students are assessed in a number of ways. They're assessed practically, so they'll carry out a practical task. It could be removing, refitting an item of suspension maybe, or diagnosing and repairing a vehicle. They would then do a what we call a job card, so a bit like a write-up. They'd write down what they did, what tools they used, and then this would then be sent to their assessor, and the workshop assessor, who would then mark that. So that's one way that we assess. Other ways, we've got online portfolios where there's written assessments to carry out. They have online tests which are multiple choice, and also professional discussions. So these are just some of the ways that we can assess our students. On top of that, we're using, as I said earlier, Lectude, which gives us a snapshot of the students' knowledge, and then over time we can revisit some of those areas and see the distance travelled and see how the students have improved throughout the year. So again, it gives us a good understanding of where our students are at and what areas are weak, where they can be helped and advised on how to improve their knowledge. Over to Ben, please.
Thank you. So our two computing courses both have a mixture. So there are a set of exams in the level 2 and the level 3 courses, and some coursework part of that as well. So pretty standard stuff that we will guide you through all the material and the revision requirements for the exam units. And then the assignment units, we will guide you through that as well. You will build your assignments up with our help, and we will mark them internally. For the esports course, there are no exams for that one, but you have to build quite a substantial portfolio, showing your skills and knowledge that you gain over the 2 years. And the idea behind that is that when you go out into the world of work, you have this portfolio that shows what you're capable of doing, as well as just having the certificate saying, I can do it. Claire?
Science has a variety of assessment methods. The biomedical science and the forensic and criminal investigation courses have an externally marked exam in the first year, and then a practical exam as well in the first year. And then there is a similar written exam in the second year, and then a synoptic, which is where you have research time before you do your exam to look at the scientific topic. The T level has external exams and an employer-led project. It has professional discussions. It has a practical exam as well. and there's a synoptic in that one as well. What I would also say is the courses also have internally assessed coursework to look at, and some of that could be practical tasks as well. So you might be asked to show your competency in collecting chemical evidence. Mike?
Yeah, so we have the two provisions. We have the level 2 provision and the level 3. On the level 2, it's predominantly coursework, but there is one exam, which again, as the other guys have said, you know, you do the revision and the guidance, and you're helped to get through that. On the level 3, currently there's no examined module, so it's all internally assessed, and it's via assignments. There are also practical tasks, so you have to carry out, like for example, CAD, you have to produce models, and we do 3D printing. So there's things that you do that aren't just like writing, it's actually practical tasks as well. And then some of the other stuff could just be problems, you solving problems. So yeah.
Thanks, Claire. I was going to ask you, you mentioned T-levels. So next year we're launching 2 exciting new programs in the faculty, which are T-levels that you've hopefully heard about from government advertising. We're launching them in computing and science. But Claire, do you want to just explain what makes a T-level different to a normal course?
Okay, so a T-level is short for a technical qualification. It's different from the traditional A-levels and the traditional BTECs in that it has a mandatory industry placement. Students have to complete a minimum of 315 hours across their time with us. And the T-levels have what are called occupational specialisms. So all the students will study core units in their first year to give them the underpinning knowledge even of their sector more generally, whether that's science or computing or anything else. And then in the second year, it drills down into an occupational specialism and gives them more specific knowledge about that area of work and what they're going to go into. So it's got the internal assessment side of things like a BTEC has, it's got the external side of things like an A-level has, and then it has a really solid employer-led industry placement, which is almost like an apprenticeship. So it's almost a hybrid qualification that takes almost the best bits of everything else. Thanks,
Claire. Next question is, do you work closely with many local employers? So I'll take that if you want. The answer is very much yes. We have been working for several years now with the local employers in the community and aim to get all of our students at least 40 hours work experience every year. In addition to that, T-levels require 315 hours of work placement over the 2 years. So we've been working on a pilot for the last 2 years to get students out on an extended work placement of 315 hours. And we simply can't do that without the support of our local employers in the community. So yeah, we've tried to work very hard with local employers to get work experience and to make sure our courses are delivering what they need. So the students that progress from our courses have got the best start they can in a career. What GCSEs do I need for the esports course, please?
So we'll be looking for 5 GCSEs, and these would need to include your English and maths to get onto the esports course with us, please.
Thanks, Ben. Ben, another one for you. People, if they enroll on a computing course, do they need to have their own high specification PC and software to do the work they need to?
So everything we do with computing, you wouldn't need a high spec PC, certainly not. We do provide you with computers at college, so you have time at college to do anything if you haven't got software or bits at home that you need. As part of joining the college, we do give you access to things like Microsoft Office 365. So you do get a software package to enable you to write coursework and do stuff at home and access Teams. We do give you additional software for things like the Adobe suite. So if we do anything that we need with esports, for like Premiere Pro to do video editing, we do provide you with that at the college. And I think it's the same with some of the other departments as well, that any specific software that you will need for us to teach you this course, you will have access at the college to do that. But no, as in regards to a high spec PC, certainly not. It's always a discussion we have at the start of with enrollment is sort of what specs PCs and technology you have at home, so we can kind of assess that and give you some guidance and see where you sit. But certainly not a high spec one, no.
Thanks, Ben. Leon, what is the difference between your motorsport and automotive courses, please?
Okay, so our motorsport course, it allows, well, if I say what a normal light vehicle level 3 would be, so a standard light vehicle level 3 would allow you to have access to maybe working in a dealership or an independent garage as a diagnostic technician, whereas our motorsport course gives you that exact same package, but on top of that you get the added benefits of being able to take that knowledge to motorsport. So then you could look at other jobs in that area. So it gives you more scope for the industry. So not only does it allow you to work in places like main dealers and things like that, you've also got the opportunities to be part of a race team or into logistics within the racing sector. Both level 3 course will also give you UCAS points, which then could take you to a university program in the future. So that's why we run the motorsport courses, to give you more options for your future, and it also adds a bit more excitement to the course as well, because I don't know about you, but I enjoy a bit of motorsport myself, so it's always good to see something a bit different. As a college, we're one of the only colleges in the area that run the motorsport course. So again, it's just giving you something a bit different. Thank you.
Thanks, Leon. Mike,
Yep.
It might be worth you. Can you explain the difference between mechanical engineering and people who want to be a mechanic, please?
I mean, ultimately, it's another form of engineering. I mean, automotive is just a stream of engineering. It depends where you want to go with it, whether you want to study engineering and go into, I mean, I think, I don't know, perhaps Leon will disagree, but if you want to go into like an industry, then it's an engineering course. If you want to predominantly work with cars, then it's automotive. But it doesn't mean you can't switch between the two. You could do engineering and then flip to automotive. A friend of mine, he studied engineering and then went to work in an automotive company. But I've got another friend who studied automotive and then went to work for an engineering company. It really depends. In engineering, we do all the basics, and so we work up from a range of skills, not just towards automotive. So it's a range of skills that could lead to any form of engineering. Leon, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I would just sort of add that. So with the automotive courses, you may start like a level 1, which gives you the access to like sort of a fast fit type setup. But as you go through to level 3, you could then be looking at progressing towards mechanical engineering if you wanted to, or design engineering. So it's just a different pathway. Depends what sort of things you're into and what you want to do when you finish. But it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. Like you make a decision to be automotive and you can never come away from that. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, totally.
You can change the pathway.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Leon. That's it. That's our time up today. If you've got any other questions, please keep them coming in and we'll respond to them at a later date via email and contact you directly. So thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cool. I like how everyone was suddenly, oh, freeze. I think Gary wants a debrief, doesn't he? He might invite us in a minute.
Yeah, I think